Good morning and welcome to another edition of Take 5. It is Wednesday, May 11th, 2011, 5/11/11. So glad you're here today, especially the new audience that's tuning in, fans of the People Collab who have gone down there and clicked on Honky Tonk Wayne 1 and are watching these videos. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will tell you, since May 9th, all the videos that I've recorded, so that's 3 so far, are geared toward the tweeners to teen age group. I'm sure that's the primary audience of the People Collab, so that's who I'm teaching now, and I've got one myself, and I've got a couple other kids too. So anyway, glad you're here. We've been in Matthew 19. Jesus has been teaching on divorce, and he said some pretty hard things. He said that if you marry somebody, you should stay married for life, and the only reason that you should ever get a divorce is if your partner cheats on you. All right? So we're following that up right now. We're in Matthew 19, verse 10. The disciples said to him, "If such is the case of a man with his wife, it is better not to marry." Well, they have a good point. If you gotta be stuck with one woman for the rest of your life and you can't ever leave her, it's better to stay single. That's what these guys thought after what Jesus taught. And you know, unless you're really sure you can stay with one person for life, it really is better not to marry. And here's what Jesus said. He said to them, verse 11, "Not everyone can receive this saying, but only those to whom it is given." All right. Now, I want to tell you this right off the bat. Jesus is not judgmental. And here's a good example of that. He's just taught some really hard things regarding divorce. And he's very much against divorce, and people should stay married for life. But he says, but not everyone can receive this teaching. Jesus understands that people are people. We're human. And we are going to mess up, and there are going to still be some divorces. So I think what Jesus is saying here is, look, I'm not going to come down real hard on you. The reason he teaches this stuff, I believe, is for the children, and we may not get to that passage today, but you tune in tomorrow, we're going to see what Jesus felt about children. Because children are the ones who usually get hurt in these divorces. So he's trying to look out for them, but he's saying, look, not everyone can accept it. But here he says some other interesting things, and you're going to have to Google this stuff, because I'm not going to explain it to you as much as I'd like to. Verse 12, "For there are eunuchs who have been so from birth, and there are eunuchs who have been made eunuchs, eunuch, eunuchs by men, and there are eunuchs who have made themselves eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Let the one who is able to receive this, receive it." And again, there's that, if you can receive it, if you can do it. He's basically saying here, if you can stay single, please stay single. But you've got to go Google that word eunuch, because I'm not going to get into the details with this age group of what that means. I'll just give you a little bit of a clue. Important female officials, like a queen, or a princess, or however high a ranking a woman could get in that society, would need bodyguards. Well, these guys were the bodyguards of those high-ranking female officials. And that's why if you go look up the word eunuch, eunuch, it will explain why these guys could be their bodyguards. But what he's really just saying is some of them were born that way, and I'm not sure how, but that's some kind of freak, some unfortunate genetic thing happened, just accidental, but they were born that way. Some of them have been made that way by men. That's the ones who are guarding the high-ranking officials, and some have chosen it. And when it says chosen it, it doesn't mean they actually did it. It means that they chose not to have relations with women. And that's all I want to say. I don't want to get into that kind of stuff too much, although the Bible does get into it. But I'm going to let you go look that stuff up on Google, all right? Tomorrow we're going to talk about the children, and those are the ones who really are affected by divorce, and I think that's why Jesus taught what he did. But hey, as we've said, he said whoever can accept this teaching should accept it. So that is the ideal, that's the standard, that's the highest of the high, and that's what we should shoot for. But he is patient and tolerant and forgiving. He's wonderful, isn't he? Come back tomorrow. We'll talk more about Jesus and the children on the next edition of Take 5.